It's 7 o'clock. Entertain a motion to open the meeting, the August 18th meeting, zoning board of appeals, town of New Paltz. Stephen, yes, I'll second it. All those in favor by aye? Aye, it is. So the meeting is officially opened. Let's let's take attendance. Steve Esposito's here, John Gatto's here, Leonard is here, John is here, Heather is here. Our attorney, Joe Moriello, is here. Thank you. And so is Melissa. Okay, quorum check for the September meeting. Steve,
September what?
15th.
I think so.
We'll get back to you in a minute. John?
Yes.
I'll be there. John Decker, yes. Heather?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Steve? Okay, so we should have a full board then also. Okay, and the next item on the agenda is the approval of the June 16th minutes. They've been reviewed. John, any questions? You have paper in your hand. I thought
Yeah,
you-
not for me, no.
No. Okay, anyone? No? Okay, entertain a motion for the approval of the June 16th minutes as presented. John's first. Steve? John?
Yes.
John is second. All those in favor by aye?
Aye.
Aye, it is. Okay. Next item on the agenda, the approval of the July 21st minutes. That was last month's minutes. Anyone have any questions on those? No?
Not for me.
No? Okay. Again, entertain a motion to approve the July 21st minutes as presented.
I move.
Moved by John, seconded by John. John Gatto first, John Decker second. All those in favor by aye? Aye, it is. Okay, the motions are approved. Are there any comments from the public with regard to the ongoings of tonight's meetings that are not on the agenda? If you have comments, please wait till the item comes up. That way it can be recorded into the record. Okay, no comments? Okay, first item on the agenda, 58 South Ohioville Road, please come forward. Grab a chair with you too, they didn't leave you one.
Nope.
Where is it? Okay, entertain a motion. Wait, before we do that, I'd like to state that, the affidavit of the mailings are all in place, so I thank you for that. Entertain a motion to open the public hearing for 58 South Ohioville Road for Christopher Palmieri. John Decker, yes, seconded by Steve. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, so the public hearing is open. What we need for you to do is essentially tell us what you told us last time. That way, if anyone who you sent the mailing to wants to speak on the TV or is in here, they can. Okay,
So I'm only allowed from the front edge of my house, a 4 foot from there and beyond. And I need 6 foot high,
okay,
and the house is actually pretty far away from the road. It's probably about 100 feet from the road, so it's definitely not gonna obstruct any traffic going by or anything like that. I just need more, privacy from my neighbors on that side.
definitely understandable. Any comments from the public with regard to this application? Any members of the board have any comments or questions? Oh, no. That fence is needed. Okay. There are 5 questions, if you could answer them, yes or no. Whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties will be created by granting of this area variance.
No,
No, it is. Okay. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than this area variance.
yeah. I'm not sure about that one. I
So
wasn't
is there
listening.
another way to accomplish this?
In other
It's
words,
not
there's something else that you could do other than a fence.
The bushes wouldn't work, so no.
Okay, so your answer is no. Whether the requested area variance is substantial,
Not really.
whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district.
No.
Okay, no. Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the zoning board of appeals, but shall not necessarily preclude the granting of this area variance.
No.
Okay, so at this point in time now, any members, discussion? Anything?
Not for me.
Not from me?
Yeah, I think just kind of reminding him of the different rules when he builds the fence.
Well, the good side must face the neighbor,
Right.
unless you have a slat, you know, the slat fences.
Mhm.
You could put that up so that one board faces you, one board faces them. But
I
the
understand.
proposal of your sign will be cleared through the building inspector.
Yes.
Joe, any comments, questions?
No, if there are no questions and for the applicant as part of the public hearing, you may want to motion to close the public hearing.
No, we didn't get that yet. We're still talking.
What
amongst-
you do, and then you
Yeah.
go to your.
One question I usually ask people asking for a fence variance, you say vegetation wouldn't work, and why not?
He actually is putting some up himself, approximately 10 feet from the property line. And my fence is pretty much 10 feet from the property line also.
So it'll be a double?
Yeah, pretty much in a way, it's not gonna be the whole length, it's just gonna be like from my site that I don't have to see over that way, like there's plenty of clear view from the front and then also from the back of the property. It's just the view from like basically my house and my from my front driveway.
It just doesn't really answer the question, why couldn't some kind of vegetation work? Because that's usually the first line before trying to get a variance.
Well, they would need to grow in, and like I say, he's already been putting some in, and it's gonna take years for that to grow in.
Okay,
I just prefer a fence.
entertain a motion to close public hearing. Steve, yes. John Decker, second. All those in favor, aye. Public hearing is closed. Okay, now, conversation amongst ourselves. John, question was asked, he gave an appropriate answer that I felt that was satisfactory, that it took time. But, it's nice to hear that the neighbor's putting up some greenery and you're putting up a fence, so it'll be a double block in that respect. Any questions, comments, members of the board? No?
Have any of your neighbors talked to you about the fence?
We did a few years ago, and we basically don't talk anymore.
It's a good answer.
That's why maybe the fence.
And yet, even though he's actually, a relative,
Did you drive by the property?
No.
You gotta drive by. I put up 12-foot high fence, sorry.
Okay, I have no more comments or questions.
Nothing more from me.
Heather, anything? No. Okay, entertain a motion for approval of the fence at 58 South Ohioville Road. Steve says yes. John Decker says yes. Heather says yes. I say yes. John?
Yeah.
Okay. You're done.
thank you.
Okay. Now, I need to approved. Go see the building inspector, get your permit, and away you go.
Thank you.
Melissa? Okay. Second item on the agenda for this evening's is an area variance for the Sunoco sign located at 270 Main Street.
Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, if you would please, as before, explain to us and the TV in case there's anyone listening, so that they can have an idea as to what you're asking for.
Hello, my name is Karen Greenlee. I'm here on behalf of Pro Signs in regard to the Sunoco property that is just up the street. And we are proposing, an update to their branding. So, we are proposing brand new signs of the new style to replace the existing signs that are there right now in the old style. So it is signs on their, gas canopy, their existing canopy, a new freestanding sign, which would be a monument as opposed to the pole sign that they have right now. And then, various bits and bobs underneath, for the dispensers, and then, new signage for the A+ market on the actual building front of the store. So that's our proposal.
Okay. Entertain a motion to open the public hearing for the Sunoco sign at 270 Main Street. John says yes.
Second.
John second. John Gatto seconded. All those in favor by aye? Aye. So the public hearing is open. Is there anyone? Where did that come from?
That's just the transcript.
Excuse me?
It's a transcript of the meeting.
Oh,
You want me to stop it?
wow.
Yeah, AI. is-
Right.
things.
That's bad. We might not need you anymore.
And they need us anymore.
That's right. They may not need us anymore. You're right. Okay. The public hearing is open. Does anyone from the public wish to speak? Yay or nay, or comment with regard to the signage here? Oh, gee.
Modern technology area.
Okay. Everyone has seen the application? Is that location of the monument sign where it is in the picture here, where you intend to put it?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes. That's
so it will not affect anyone in their line of signage,
No, it'll actually be set a little further back.
yes.
So it should make the site triangle a little larger actually than what is currently there. But they do that because it's closer to the ground, so, there's not the clearance to grade where there's
County,
that makes sense.
Gonna ask, did we get anything back from the county?
So I did not send anything to the county because there was no vote on whether we should send it to the county. And that's usually something that the planning board does.
Yeah, they're usually looking for technically a full record, a full submission. So if you have the public hearing tonight, you close it, then it should go to county. For something to come back, then at least county will have a full package, if you will, of everything that's being submitted to for the application, as
Understood.
well as any comments of board.
where it says under canopy imaging,
Yes.
that language, in other words, the canopy is going to remain a solid blue?
No, so that page is just depicting what the under canopy imaging is, which is the dispensers, the bollards, all of that. So if you look at this page, which of course they're not numbered to make it difficult for everyone,
Right.
this is what the canopy will look like. So it's solid blue background, light blue on the bottom, and then the signs, the actual sign boxes, laid out the way that it shows you there on each side. So two sides will be solid blue with the light blue on the bottom. And then the two, like the two signs, the arrow and the Sunoco word mark are on one side and then the diamond logo on the other.
I'm trying to, when you say left elevation,
Yes.
as you're facing the store, as you're facing the building, that's what your references to the
There's
left?
a diagram on the right, you can see at the bottom.
Oh,
So
okay,
the rear
Yeah.
elevation faces the store. The right elevation faces Main Street and then, it's 299, I think, is Empire Trail.
Mhm.
Is Main Street? No, wait a minute, which, yeah, that's Main Street, excuse me. That is Main Street. And then the new Palace bypass is the facing towards the, hotel.
how would you feel about no Sunoco words?
Oh, no, that, I don't, that would be our least, preferred solution.
The canopy at the mobile station has nothing on it. John? You familiar with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I am.
You have another packet, I could see. Oops.
I mean, I will venture to say this, I don't always take this position when I see an application like this, but to me, aesthetically, this represents a bit of an improvement. Uh, You know, provided everything else lines up, just at top level aesthetics, I think it's better than it was.
Thank you. That was one of the goals, was to sort of modernize and streamline and make it a little less busy.
Yeah, I find this much more appealing than this. This on
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Would you like to look at the,
Same thing
I
here.
didn't print, I printed out, just a safe paper. And, it's a little confusing, but it didn't bother me because I knew what I was looking at. So, sorry, this is kind of a.
Is the
mess.
facade of the building itself going to remain that color?
Are you talking about like the stucco?
This, yeah.
Yeah, we're not painting or anything like
Okay.
that. They might power wash if, that's something that they do, and they do paint like bollards and, like poles and things like that that are either, a little rusty maybe, or paint chipping.
I
Bring
understand
them
that, yeah.
into the color scheme that we're working with, so that everything's in the same colorway, but, we're not doing anything to the building past the actual A+ sign. And the decals on it.
And it's near 8,000 lumens.
That would just come with that question.
That's substantial.
That needs to be reduced. No, that should be reduced. John, that lumens is at what distance?
It doesn't say, I suspect that it is within a 10-foot radius, but that's just a guess. But 8,000 is
Bright.
significant.
Well, the better question is, how does it line up with what's in our town code?
Well, we'd have to do the conversion. Because I think don't we use candle?
We use candles.
Yeah.
Well, it's very specific. It's X number of foot candles, X distance from the surface of the sign.
Do you know the answer to that question? What the distance is for the actual lumen measurements that you guys have here?
I don't know for sure.
Okay.
If I had to guess though, it would be literally face with the light right in front of it.
Yeah.
Which I believe is what the code is.
Yeah, it's like,
Asking.
it's like in inches. It's like, my recollection is it's like 3-foot candles, 6 inches from the surface, something like that.
I know that those are just standard measurements, that they're that's not some type of an alarm, is it? Like, we don't
No,
have to leave?
it's
Okay, okay.
That's great.
Okay, the fire alarm went off at Wegmans the other day and we all got evacuated from the well.
One candle
Um,
power is roughly 12.5 lumens.
Okay. So,
So, I know that that is the standard, so that's not part of the drawing package typically, but that's just sort of like extra extraneous standard information that is provided to us by Everbright. So I don't know if it is changeable. I think that that's just what it is.
You do it a math, John?
I'm not sure.
Try.
Well, just divide that by 12.
I know, I had.
No, it's more complicated than that.
That's just to get a ballpark though.
No,
You're
some of
right, if
these,
you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right.
Well, cause you brought it up last.
yeah, and some of these are like absolute illumination from the source. Doesn't matter how far away you are.
Yeah,
And what's in our code is put candles at a distance.
So this goes back to dialogue that we had, I believe it was last year, when we need to understand what that means.
With regard to Taco Bell?
Well, it's not so much understanding what it means, is like being provided with the measurement. Do you meet it or not?
yeah, so the concern is that somebody needs to go to our actual code,
Mhm.
see what it says, and compare that information with what the actual code is and demonstrate that. this
With a
is gonna-
test.
Yeah, and demonstrate that this is gonna meet that code.
I do believe that we talked about that last time, and like I said, I am not an electrical engineer, but we would have to, figure out a way to do that. I was under the impression that that would be part of making the building permit valid,
Well, if we approve this as presented,
right?
we approve it as presented. And
Okay,
if this is not correct, then we have approved something that is not within our code.
right. I wouldn't say that it was incorrect, though, if we said that this was approved as long as the lumens are reduced to be in the code. I mean, is that something that we could do with like a caveat attached, and then
Approve
we
this
would
code.
do
With
that?
it,
Yeah,
Approve
exactly.
With a condition.
Correct, yeah. Cause honestly, I can take this off. But I'm not sure that it would matter what this says, cause we would need to prove that it would be within code.
John, are you familiar with the language as to what it is? And
I was a year ago, but
I know.
I'd have to look at it again. I don't wanna guess.
I think we just have to specify, should it be approved
You know what,
with the,
Condition that it,
on
comply
condition
with
that, the level of illumination complies with town code.
Right, well, and that's honestly, that's what I expected anyway, but I just figured that that would be something that the building inspector wouldn't give us a permit if it wasn't within the code. So,
Yeah,
but that's, just an extra level of protection for you to have it be, the correct
any
light.
notes?
Yeah, they're just basic. They don't go into the lumen aspect of it. I think that may be subsequent. That was the first meeting that we had, so I'm just kind of trying to scroll through this.
And just as an aside, just as an explanation, this was at the request of the old building inspector, who maybe would prefer something different than what wasn't, I don't know, I wasn't a part of that. But I know that this was specifically requested by him.
Okay.
So we can update it if you prefer a different measurement or require a different measurement per the code.
Anyone in TV land have any questions? Anyone there? Randall?
No questions.
Thank you. Okay. Any more comments, discussion, close the public hearing? Joe?
I'm just trying to reconcile the action of the board with still the submission that has to go to the county and its recommendations. My concern is if the board votes to approve or to disapprove without having the benefit of the comments from the county planning board, then we're in trouble on the law.
But
Your-
maybe
your
that sort of
variance.
seems like it's a catch-22.
Well, it is, but the county may also, the county may express an opinion about the lighting as well, that the board
Well, I,
might have to take into account. If, if the county comes back with recommendations
Can we
that
say
are
that,
mandatory, then the board,
then it'll be reopened
the
then?
vote changes.
so we can't in the process commit to a vote on this evening without the comment from the county.
Right, I think in fairness, whether it was to approve or disapprove, you've gotta get the opportunity to have the county planning board make its recommendations, make its comments. And of course, depending on those comments, there's certain recommendations against, then it changes the vote requirement to a supermajority. Changes it to 4 out of 5 as opposed to
Right.
3 out of 5. So I think you can probably, I would say you probably should adjourn the public hearing so that the comments of county planning board can find their way into the record
Yes,
and consider those comments when you make your decision. To save some time, and I realize time is important here, okay? Do you think, and I know it's hard to hold you to it, do you think that the electrical engineers that are gonna work on the lighting question can have some submission to the board that can find its way to the county planning board?
By when?
They meet on the first.
It's 12 days before the first Wednesday is the deadline. First
I-
Wednesday of the month,
I
12
don't-
days before
So
that.
that's,
Yeah, I think that's probably like today.
yeah, that sounds like it could be like today or
The
Over
first
the next
Wednesday
couple
is
of
the
days.
3rd. So, yeah, you said 12 days before?
Yeah.
This would be 14 days, so it'd be Friday.
yeah, that would be like Friday, probably not. Okay.
well, here's the thing.
I don't,
If-
I don't think that
if-
should hold up sending it to the county.
If it's that important.
Yeah.
And the county meets on Friday, is that what you're saying?
No,
But no, it would have to, all of the submissions that have been made, including any letter that may come from the applicant about the lighting question, would have to be here before Friday for the secretary to be able to send up a record to the county. And the applicant is saying that probably is not gonna happen
Okay,
in time for it to go to the county. But I'm saying that's probably not a reason to delay the referral to the county. I would say that the board probably should make the referral. Submit what you're going to submit as soon as you can,
When you,
maybe able to submit it to the county and have them consider it.
so when you say that, you mean just get the electrical information as soon as I can and hope that it's to the 3rd before, even if it's after these 12 days?
well, you could always email it to them.
And it certainly is.
We
gonna
would
be
have
by-
to find a person to do that, to read your code, to figure out a way to calculate this correctly on signs that they do not manufacture. And then redo these drawings to send them to you, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Why would the drawings need to be redone? It's the illumination which is inside the sign.
Right, but you would need some type of information, and the lumens that are on these drawings is not what you are wanting. So
That's
you would
correct.
need new information, so these drawings need to be redone. These are not our drawings. These are Total Imaging and Everbright drawings.
Well, I think it could be just a separate document that says, here's the results of the light test.
Okay,
That's, am I wrong?
Yeah.
that's up to you, what you want. That's not the way that we would submit something, especially because these are the drawings and the building inspector asked them to have the lumens written on them.
Yeah,
Suppose if you use a program like Bluebeam, you could note on the area where it shows the actual lumens is redesigned for this date and under the supervision of whatever architect. As long as you noted that on that paper and just resubmitted that same form, you wouldn't even have to go back to this company. You could,
okay, so
The-
you're saying that just a letter from someone,
I'm suggesting it, I'm not
okay,
directing.
I'm just
So
trying- yeah,
I wanna
understand.
see what the rest, I'm just trying to facilitate this for you guys, so.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
I just wanna make sure I understand what you're saying, so that way,
So
cause I
if
have to
you-
go back to our project manager, who then has to go to the
You
electrical.
don't always have
person.
to come up with new drawings. You
Yeah.
can you could do a markup, a revise and resubmit, like I had suggested earlier. So you could revise it, resubmit it under the same drawing with the original lumens crossed out, saying, under the supervision of this individual on this date with this test. Go ahead, buddy. So what's our, okay, that's the number I have.
What is it?
It's,
Therefore, 7,945 lumens is roughly approximately equivalent to 632 candles. However, it is important to remember that the lumens measure the total light output of a source, while candle power measures the intensity of the light emitted in a specific direction.
Yeah.
So
Len,
while, back to John,
this is the whole branch of physics here.
Yeah.
yes. Okay,
So just to clarify too, I pulled up the town code. And there it says, lighting shall be glare free and shielded from the sky and adjacent properties using cutoff technology, blah, blah, blah. Lighting levels at the property lines shall not exceed 0.1 foot candles. So it's 0.1 foot candles, that's the intensity at the property line.
Which is generally the way it's written in the code, but that's not what we were talking about.
if my memory is correct, I was on a member of the county planning board 15 years ago, let's say, and what the county wanted was 1 candle power at the property line at that time. Now, you said 0.1.
That's what this code is saying for, and I mean, this is the only thing that I found in here that specifically had to do this. This was site design or redevelopment of an existing site, basically. Does this look like it's in the right, so that's the right thing? That's the only thing I found that has anything
Get me back to
where
where,
it's this highlighted part.
Okay.
I'll let him look at it. But that's why you'll need to know exactly the planned location for the sign.
Oh, yep, I know, that's why I was, when I first heard this was a requirement, I was a little concerned about how we would end up doing it.
Yes, the further back the sign is, the more intense the light could be at the sign with its trajectory
Correct.
going to the property
Well,
line.
that was the point that I'd made
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Okay, so entertain a motion to, for a continuance of the public hearing to our next meeting of September 15th.
Okay, so if it's being continued, were we gonna have the same conversation because it's not going to go to the planning board or not the
County Planning
excuse me.
Board. You're only going to supply the information that they need with regards to the light at the property line. Once we receive their comments, we've already had all of our discussion with that is the only comment that,
Their meeting is on the 3rd, and I do not believe that I will be able to get that information in time for them.
it may not come in time for the county.
Yeah.
So then the county will not be able to make a decision about my proposal, and I'll be back here on the 15th having the same conversation.
it's,
That's possible.
I think that's pretty likely.
Well, on the other hand, the county planning board really doesn't make a decision. County planning board will respond with comments and recommendations. Sometimes their comments leave the determination to the local board to make. So I'm not saying that's what will happen with lighting here, but that's possible, okay? If so, the information that you're going to submit because the board's gonna leave the public hearing open, at least we'll find its way into the record. So the board can look at the comments and consider what was submitted and possibly make a decision.
Is it appropriate for me to suggest that? I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Karen,
That she call the county planning board and converse with the planner?
I don't know the county's procedure, if it will accept those calls from an applicant or not, but it certainly is worth
The
trying.
most they do is say no.
I suppose that's the worst they could say.
If I talked to John, he said there is a possibility, depending upon how complicated the application is, that they could accept it after the 12 days.
who is John? He's at the county?
Correct.
Okay, all right, so still a possibility though. Yeah,
So is there anything that we can do that can get everything except for that, what Kendall's measurement to them so they can begin looking at it?
I mean, I would just send whatever Karen sent in to me to them, plus the minutes from this meeting. And then I would just label the application as incomplete and then send him an email requesting like a later deadline for that piece of information.
But then at least
But
they
that
would
would be
have
on
everything, they could
his-
begin looking at it and then.
if you wouldn't mind doing that, and then just, I guess, let me know whether, like, I can start working on this, but if he says absolutely not, you need to have it by whenever day, and I know that I won't, or be able to make that, then we can go from there, but at least then I won't be, paying all rush charges for the electrical engineer to do that for no reason.
Have you exchanged phone numbers?
I know Melissa
Okay.
very well.
Okay, all right. Okay, so,
Do the board members have any questions while the public hearing is open for the applicant as to the other aspects of the application other than the illumination question?
I have no questions. The questions I had have been answered.
Okay.
Anyone else have any other questions? No. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion for approval for continuance of this public hearing for 270 Main Street to our next meeting of September 15th. John?
Yes.
Yes? Steve, second? All those in favor by aye? Joe?
And just for the record, maybe, can we say something specific that this will be referred to the county planning board
Okay,
for its meeting?
yes.
Of September? Melissa,
Who said
do
wow?
you know, if the county planning board's agenda is gonna change because of, isn't that Labor Day weekend?
It's Labor Day week, it's the first is Labor Day, so
Yeah, the
that would be
first is Labor
Wednesday
Day.
after. They might not have a quorum.
Right, it would be the Wednesday after Labor Day weekend. All right, we just, for the date, maybe we can find out if that's gonna change their agenda, their,
Okay.
Meeting date.
Okay.
Which may also change the submission date if it backs it up.
That'd be nice.
I don't know, but I'm concerned about that Wednesday after the holiday.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
We'll see you in September.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Len,
Excuse me?
who's going to instruct the applicant on what the code requires without any ambiguity?
Well, the requirement of the code should be available online, John. You know,
Yeah, I have seen it. I'm just looking for it right now. It's,
Heather may have the site,
So, yeah, I just went to
yeah,
the
it's,
website and I just searched.
it's many, many pages.
Yeah.
And
I mean, there was only one place I found that talked at all about the candles or illumination.
What section?
Okay, it is section 140-22.4.
Did you hear that, John?
Oh, wait, this is.
Yeah, I'm in the right section. I just think it's full of stuff. I just don't think on the fly here, we are in a position to really
No, I don't think we are. I
say
agree.
definitively, but it's gonna take a little bit of, yeah.
Dustin?
The vertical portion of the sign is supposed to be 3-foot candles, 3 inches from the base of the sign, so 11,000 lumens at source is difficult to know what it is 3 inches away, especially with what's screening it. It's supposed to be white opaque letters, backlit. So, but I think 11,000 lumens, I just did some rough math, it was like 16.5 foot candles. 3 inches away is 0.25 feet, so it's a little over, it's about 4 change.
So it drops.
Yeah, because you're by foot, obviously you divide by how far away it is, so at 3 inches, that's 0.25.
So do you think there's the need to clarify that in the code?
We could provide them, any engineer with the code, and they have to meet that, or I can redline it at the time.
Okay,
Would be helpful.
that would be helpful, yes. Okay, next item on the agenda.
Yeah, 1 second. John? And then we'll move on. Look, you'll note section 140-101. Prohibited signs. That would be subdivision O, the letter O. Yeah, internally illuminated signs are prohibited, except those with opaque background, semi-transparent letters, and the average level of illumination measured at 3 inches from the vertical surface, not exceeding 3-foot candles and utilizing LED fixtures.
That
So
sounds,
the average level of illumination measured at 3 inches from the vertical surface, not exceeding 3-foot
does
candles.
that sound?
Does that sound right? Did you get the site, John?
Yes, that's what I recall.
Yep,
That's what I think.
so that's what we can.
I was able to read it to you when Heather's increased the size of the font on the screen.
Okay, next item on the agenda, use variance, 111 South Ohioville. Joseph, please come forward.
Evening.
Good evening.
Thank you.
I have the affidavit of your mailings. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
For TV Land, if you would, please tell us why you're here, as you told us the last time
Left.
you were here. Okay,
I purchased 111 South Ohioville in December of 2020, and at that time I had received a clean municipal search citing no zoning violations tied to the property as a 3-family. It had been taxed as a 3-family stemming back as much as 30 years ago. And during my sale, which is hanging in the
The date of the 21st.
I received a municipal search showing that it was an illegal or a single family being converted illegally as a 3-family. And in preparation for this meeting, I did everything that the appeal process is as far as support. And I am here tonight we have 2 situations, either appeal the building department or to grant the use variance based upon the board feels is the right decision to disseminate that particular scenario. And that is why we are here tonight.
Okay. Joe?
Just by way of procedure, because I think this is somewhat unusual for the board. You've got, as a result of an amendment of the application last time, the first issue is an appeal from the building inspector's prior determination. And if that's
Except,
goes against them, basically, the alternative is a request for a variance. So procedurally, they're appealing the determination of the building inspector. The appellant would go first, then the building inspector, who's here in the form of Justin Bowe, will have an opportunity to respond.
Okay,
It's really a hearing, it's an appeal from the determination.
to assist our appeal, the house has character witnesses that are here tonight that can vouch for its long standing as a multifamily. House, a popular house with friends. So we asked them to come tonight to assist in the appeal.
okay, I understand. They gotta give them a place to
There you go.
stand. Okay. You have people that you'd like to present?
Out of respect for his time, we have Robert, I'll let Robert Beatty go just because of his
We
time.
get going.
No.
One at a
I'm
time.
gonna let Robert go first. Yeah, no, absolutely. Sorry.
Okay, if you would please state your name for the record and where you live.
Robert Guidi. I currently live at 752 Newport Road in Highland, New York.
Okay, talk to us.
So, Joe, I've been taking care of the lawn for the last, I don't know, 8 or 10 years. Previous to him owning it, I took care of the lawn for the previous owner, for probably at least 5 years. My family, raised on Roma Place, named after my uncle. When I was an infant, I lived in that house that he's trying to sell. I spoke to my uncle Eddie, who's 82 years old, that also lived on Roma Place, and he remembers it being a multifamily even back then when my grandfather and grandmother,
How many years ago would you say that totally was, roughly?
he said the early 50s. I'm gonna be 53 next month, and my mom and my dad had me my infant years living in that house. I spoke to my mom just the other day because when Joe asked me to come here,
Okay,
Sandy, my uncle who's gonna speak next, he's a neighbor, he remembers it. And his house was built in 1912. So, again, I've always remembered it as a multifamily. So,
okay, thank you.
all right, thanks.
Good.
I'll see you
Thank
later.
you for
Talk to
coming.
tomorrow. Have a good day.
We have, let Ron come here with, Mr. Ronald Bellotti.
Good evening.
Ron Batelli, I live 115 South Iredale Road.
I'm sorry, your name again?
Botali, Botali.
There it is.
You got it.
Okay,
All I'm saying is that it's been a 3-family house since I can remember. I got pictures of me that small in a tub. So I don't know the difference that Joe would know that now you have 2 families, 3. Something somewhere along the line, somebody didn't do the work. I mean, he's got the price for a year. My Uncle Joe had it for 2 years, I think. And Cotropia had another 2 years. I remember in years they were there. But we're talking 15 years ago. And at this time, like, I don't know what you're looking to get from me.
Basically, what's your earliest memory of it being a multifamily?
pre-1950?
Yeah, give us a year.
Roughly.
Got it. I would have to say Yeah, maybe about, well, think of the 64. That's when my father bought the house next to him.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
I think,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
you guys, bye.
Who's next?
We have Mr. Hernandez. Please come on up.
Good evening.
Well, I guess I here to attest to that. I've been, this property is right across the street from my property. I've been there a good 20 years. I knew the people who owned my property in the early 80s. And I have known this property, 111, to be a three-family resident all along. I did a small plumbing job in the early 80s for the house south of it, the house next door.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a three-family residence all that time.
Okay,
And I have a similar situation. A lot of these properties that were built before zoning came in. The town doesn't always have the correct, use on the properties. And as far as I know, that property has never changed. It's always been a three-family house.
is the zoning on that, is that zoning on that area land single families?
That's what it is now, but the house predates that zone.
Okay. Any questions from anyone on the board? No? Yes? None? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Appreciate it.
That's everybody, right?
That is everybody for
That's what
tonight.
we brought.
Okay.
One question. As far as you're concerned, does the board have everything that you want to submit
Yeah,
on this?
yeah, as far as the appeal, yes.
Yeah.
Including any paperwork, documentation?
Yeah, we brought that all the
All
last time,
documentation was submitted prior to the first meeting,
Okay.
as far as the appeal.
as far as any supporting documentation, et cetera. Yes,
There's a lot of it.
I compiled quite a bit in my,
Yeah.
before I went to bed.
Yes. Okay. Justin, please come forward. Justin is our building inspector. He's here to speak. Okay,
So I was asked to come, and basically explain why I determined the way I determined, and essentially this house was built late 1800s, early 1900s, not a clear record. It was built as a single family and taxed that way up until 1992. Nothing happened in 1992. We have no paperwork on this house in terms of permits being issued. Not even that they didn't have permits, but they refused entry multiple times from building department, and also I think I don't know what other departments called, like the Census Bureau or something. So had they done that, in 1992, it was changed, but there's no record of why. Probably just because everyone knew it as a three-family. But in terms of how I have to go about it, I have to see documentation and why, and so that's why it was flagged.
Oh, sorry, what happened exactly in 1992?
The assessment changed to a three-family.
Okay,
So since 1992, it's been taxed, and that's why his property card, when he bought the house in 2020, reflected a three-family.
was there a reevaluation done at that particular time, do you know?
The building department has never been allowed into this building until I just went there for the first time and did an inspection.
So we verify that there are 3 kitchens.
There's 3 kitchens.
There are 3 or 4 electric meters,
Correct.
and that there are 3 or 4 service panels to turn the electric on and off.
Absolutely.
And as I talked about in the last time, all that wiring is in the walls.
Not all of it.
That's my next question.
There is some wire mold
Okay.
that did have an electrical inspection done, and that it was all passed in 2007.
Okay.
Based on my inspection, everything, as far as if it were a three-family, it met, you know, I think we had to get one smoke detector. He corrected it right away. There's egress in all the bedrooms. There's
Okay.
only 5 bedrooms, which that's what it was as a single family. So in terms of septic issues, things like that, it was, it still meets.
It still meets it because
Correct.
septic is determined by the number of bedrooms.
Absolutely. So as far as if the board decides to rule in his favor, it also meets my.
Okay, what would you, as the building inspector, need to do if hypothetically this was granted an approval?
So we've already started the process in doing after the fact permits for the 2 extra kitchens. And then, I've done the inspection. We have that electrical inspection to support some of the electric that I saw that they had installed.
Mm-hmm.
So basically I'll issue that permit, I'll CC it the same day. And then I can give it a certificate of occupancy, but I can't give it a certificate of occupancy until the board says yes.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay,
So back to 1992, would you say there was anything done improperly, or it's just a matter of not having a clear record of what's behind this change?
So how the assessor changes things, I'm still not clear on. They can take a listing that someone put in the newspaper. And, you know, they're advertising multiple apartments at this place, and if they think that it's there, they can then assess it. And that's my understanding.
but with having never done,
Yeah,
so their decision could basically have been arbitrary and capricious.
absolutely. And so now, today, in our department now, we're trying to clean these things up. You know, a permit precedes any changes, and but unfortunately, you know, these things, especially these older homes that have been forever, you know, I don't know what happened. I can't speak to what happened in nineteen
No,
ninety.
I understand that, but yes, you are correct that I know that the building inspectors will look at things that are advertised, you know, so many apartments, and then they reflect back and they check,
Yeah.
and that's how, and then they make the assumption that it is what it is.
Right, and then, you know, looking at the time that he purchased, it was right in the middle of COVID. It was, you know, lack of, you know, someone just did a clear letter. It could have came up at that time too, had there been, you know, if it was normal circumstances, but
Sure,
I'm just speculating.
yeah, I understand. So based on what the determination of the building inspector made is based on what he saw through his physical inspection of the property at the present time. Joe? Do we,
Help us.
excuse me? No, do we make a decision with regard to the building inspector's determination?
Since the application is about an appeal from the building inspector's determination, if the finding is adverse against the applicant, then they are moving in the alternative for a variance for this to be declared a multifamily.
So,
So I think you rule on the building, on the appeal first, then go to the issue, if you have to, about the variance.
so basically, in order to get to the variance, we'd have to rule against the building inspector?
Against the applicant.
No,
That's
No, just the opposite.
against
Yeah, in the favor of.
the applicant in favor of the building inspector, that
Ah,
the
okay.
building inspector's decision was correct. But then the applicant is asking you, if you find that, I want the board to go to my alternative relief
Which is
as
the
to
variance?
whether or not you would grant me variance. So it's kind of a two-step application. So if you find that the building inspector was correct, that would be your finding, then you would move to the application for the use variance, go through the criteria, et cetera. and, make a determination on the use variance. If you find in favor of the appellant that the building inspector's decision was incorrect, you're done. You don't have to go to the issue of the variance.
Can we just clarify for me what the building inspector's ruling was? Because everything that you just said seemed to be a very compelling argument that it should be approved.
Building inspector was single family?
Yeah, it is, it's a single
See,
family.
the
Well,
bill,
I think what he's saying is, he doesn't see any record of conversion.
Right.
And what our argument is conversion was done prior to when he would see it. And so I'm not necessarily saying he's wrong, but conversion was predates when it would be shown up.
well, the conversion could have been done pre-1950.
That's what I'm saying. So.
Yes,
so
we,
that-
we don't know when,
Exactly, exactly. But given multiple lines of evidence we have, and the fact that there is no evidence of conversion on the record, just this conversion in 92, to now it's being taxed that way. Again, it kind of lends itself to, not necessarily that he made an incorrect ruling, it's just that the conversion predated when it would have been applied for.
So can I just try to rephrase just to
Sure.
make sure that I understand? So, what it sounds like you're saying is that officially, on the books, this is a single family residence. That's the zoning and that's how the building inspector looks at it. However, when you went to see it, you observed all of the pieces necessary for it to be a 3 unit. Is that correct?
So when it's not a clear, it's not a concise yes, it's, I ruled on it before I ever saw it.
Mhm.
I ruled I had no supporting document other than the assessor's card. Which we as a building department really don't use as a determining factor. For us, it's permits and
None
it's
of
zoning.
that, there is none of that.
I do believe after seeing it, that had the owner in any of those occasions allowed entry,
Then
then
would
this
be a
could have,
non-issue.
this would be not an issue.
So I guess my question then is, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around what is the best way for us to proceed, because it sounds like the right things were happening to make it a 3 unit, so how can we, like, is it because the zoning in that area is for single family? So if he tried to apply to have it become a 3 unit, like, it would still end up back here because of the zoning? Is that really what we're trying, the use variance is to be able to make it a 3 unit single family?
In effect, the variance would make it a lawful, pre-existing, non-conforming use within the R1 zone. This, just the decision that I think is being appealed is a letter, if you remember,
Mhm.
in your package, June 24th of this year. The building inspector determined it's a renovated single-family residence into 3 apartments and recent kitchen/bathroom renovations without the benefit of a building permit. These family residence created without approval from the town, fire safety certificate expired 12/31/21. You're saying now,
Well, just, I
any of
just
the
want to
other
cover him.
considerations though have been cured.
Yeah, all but,
Safety
yeah,
concerns have
Yeah.
been cured, but the position of the department is, it still believes that it was a single-family residence prior to 1992, and then it was converted at that time. Is that correct?
when it was converted is debatable because
Yeah.
there's nothing to support either way.
So it could have been converted even before zoning took effect in
Correct,
1976.
correct,
The building department's records don't know.
exactly. And that's all I just have to take in his face.
And that's basically what the purpose of the character witness is.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
The
to-
purpose of the character witnesses, right, is to demonstrate that it was a 3.
That it-
Because otherwise, in my mind, what we don't wanna have happen is somebody buy a house, break it up into three and then try and sell it,
Or,
you know.
absolutely.
That's what we wanna make sure that we're not approving something like that.
And it couldn't be further from that.
So if I could say, I'm taking this all in from last time, today, everything. I'm sympathetic to this applicant on the one hand. And I don't like second guessing the building inspector on the other hand, who's doing things by the book, which I appreciate. And, I personally would rather take up the question of granting a use variance than overturning a building inspector determination.
I guess my only comment on that is that, again, it just brings to the fact that, and it wasn't, again, it wasn't you, but in 2020, he was allowed to buy this as a three-family. So it's just, like I said, it just, again, what worries me about the use variance is we're hanging here and we're on one last hook. That's what worries me about the use variance. I think we have everything in place, but again, he bought it as a three-family. He should, to me, it just feels like an injustice to have to apply for a use variance for something that he was purchased and he was told at the time by Town of New Paltz.
No fault of Justin's or anybody else.
Yeah, no fault of anybody current. And again, I applaud him for doing what he's doing now. I just feel, like I said, it worries me knowing that our drop dead date is in 3 days, that we're down to our last hook. When again, he did buy this and was told by Town of New Paltz
Yeah.
that he could proceed. His financing would not have been cleared if he did not have that letter from Town of New Paltz. And because we do have the character witnesses that literally were born in the house, in apartments, it hurts to know that we're gonna be on our last straw. Or we're dead.
I'm done.
Well, that's okay.
Can I ask the building inspector a question? If the determination were that the initial determination was incorrect, okay? Or a variance is granted, the end result would be the same.
Correct.
We'd have a three-family that's now in the process of satisfying all safety standards, et cetera, that continued as a three-family, right?
Mhm.
I mean, that's the bottom line, no matter what it is, okay? The concern that I have is the same concern that Heather had before. If another case should come up where somebody truly did do a renovation that was unlawful without benefit of the building permit and converted a house even to a two-family, let alone a three-family, and then made an application for a variance, how does the precedence in this case affect that kind of a later determination? Now, granted, the proof may be different, but the question by the applicant would still be the same. Yeah, okay, so there was a conversion without benefit of the building permit. You gave a variance to these guys, why don't you give me a variance? That's,
Yeah, but Joe, we're always told each case stands alone.
I'm just gonna see this,
that's true, and I'm not saying that would be absolute, but it allows for that argument to be made in a later case. A finding in this case that it's been a lawful three-family since prior to zoning came into effect in 1976 avoids the granting of a variance.
so there's no way of establishing, even if they did it prior to zoning. We don't know that.
We don't know that. There was something on the record that I recall about numbers on the doors that suggested.
That'd be a boarding, so the house was used as a boarding house by the same people that own the Villa Cusa. When that was built in the early we're talking late 1800s, early 1900s. They didn't build a house in a month and a half like they do now. This is a years of commitment. That's why the date is
And
so.
that's not uncommon. I mean, from my experience in real estate law, we see that from time to time with these old houses. A lot of them were boarding houses, but then they became single-family residences. That could be verified. by building inspectors' records, and they're now single family. This is one where they're saying, we've always been a three family.
Yeah, we didn't convert.
And we didn't, you know, in bringing in the people tonight that we did based
And we have
upon
we have a letter from the current tenant who's been there for how many?
25 years.
She's been there 25
She's
years
been there
herself.
25 years.
So again, goes right about 2000 now.
About 2000.
Yeah, it's 26 years, it's 26 years.
So, you know, like I said, my whole point is not saying he wasn't doing, again, he was doing his job. There was no record on there. But we have a ton of evidence showing prior, as well as, again, which I understand that's not today, but the clear letter from the town in 2020.
Yeah,
So to me.
My
this is why
financing
this is
wouldn't have
such a
closed.
different case than you'll normally get. This isn't something where somebody decided to chop up their single family house. He literally purchased it 5 years ago and was told, you're fine, just put smoke detectors in.
and I think,
A couple of years ago, the town said.
It was a legal
violation,
three family.
Just go ahead.
which is what I
You bought it.
brought.
Yeah, this is the letter.
This is the letter
That
that I
you guys have.
received.
We have these, yeah.
I think I think what differentiates this case from many other cases, possibly, in my opinion, is, the amount of evidence that I brought, the amount of support that I brought. I don't think anybody who was, say, trying to do what,
Yeah,
setting
try
a
to-
bad
try to
precedent,
get one through.
wouldn't have the amount of support that I've had through this.
Yeah, people that can
Do this
actually
job
attest
then.
to living there.
You know, these are people that aren't related, or some are, but not related.
Have you seen that, John?
I believe I saw it last time,
We
but
never-
I'm rereading it.
I just have one more question for the building inspector. Is it fair to say that a lot of the things that have been submitted by the applicant prior, as well as, wave your hand.
I said, no, we got candles, I got candles. No, don't do this.
There you go.
There it goes.
You've got the technique.
As well as the information.
That's how you
that they
stand up.
presented tonight. Was information that you did not have.
Correct, I
when You
didn't,
made the decision on June 24th, right?
yeah, I mean,
You didn't have this.
I had the clear letter from 2020, but we get those all the time, to be honest with you.
You didn't have
No,
all,
of
the
course,
benefit
yeah.
of all of their
Prior,
Yeah, I
prior,
didn't know,
there was no.
yeah, and so, I mean, if I was sitting in their seat, I would be, I know what I would do.
The building inspector was incorrect.
I mean, it's like, to me, it's heads you win, tails I lose. So,
at the time of when all this evidence was prepared, way prior to the Board of Appeals, Justin wasn't prior for that conversation. There was another gentleman who was representing the building department. And,
But Justin's been great,
but Justin's been
and we
unbelievable.
appreciate
And
you.
I appreciate you. I really do.
What other documentation would a purchaser receive to signify the use in this specific case, multifamily?
Not a lot. I mean, from the real estate agent's point of view, they would advertise a particular property generally as the way that it's assessed at the time, just. in
Which it was listed as a three family.
So if it's labeled in the assessor's office as a three family, one of the things that an applicant would look at would be the listing. The real estate listing says it's a three family. They'll proceed maybe on that basis, but at some point, their title insurance company asks the building inspector for a departmental search. That's what happened in 2020, and the search came back and said there were no violations. In reliance on that, the applicant bought the property and the bank made the commercial loan because it was a three family.
No, it was an FHA owner, so yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
FHA.
he was more fragile.
So they granted the mortgage on it. So then when he's selling it, the buyer requested a departmental search again from the building department. the determination June 24th said to everybody, in effect, there's a violation, it's not a lawful three-family.
Mhm.
That's when the wheels stopped.
Yeah, we were supposed to be closed a month. We were supposed to be closed.
So it's a contradiction.
Yeah, that's exactly what my letter stated.
Yeah,
It's a
Yeah,
it's,
contradiction.
it's
Yeah,
as
two hard
much a
facts, I think.
contradiction as
Yeah,
they're saying, okay, even if the assessor sometime back before 1992 called it a single family, we're saying, in fact, the assessor was incorrect. It was a three-family, because it's been a three-family since even before that. The assessor was wrong.
Can I ask you a question? Here's the question.
These are troubles, but
Am
not in this case.
is there case law that indicates that a variance should rule in the favor of the applicant if unless there's just cause to show it not to be granted? I am so sure that there is, and I seem to remember it when they were trying to get that, senior housing on Brook Ferris. I saw it, I never wrote it down, and I just, I can't grab it, but it's scratching in the back of my head somewhere.
This is for a variance?
Any a variance in front of a zoning board of appeals. And that's probably why there are those 5 questions.
There's really no default provision for whether the variance gets granted or not. It's a balancing test of those 5 things
Okay,
that the board always has to do and make a reasoned determination once it listens to all the record. So there's no default provision. Somebody doesn't win because they put in the proof. It's always a balancing act. If you're dealing with a use variance as opposed to an area variance. If the hardship is self-created, that is death. to a
Yeah,
use
yes.
variance. It is not death to a area variance. Okay, so, I mean, that's one that you always have to worry about, but it's always a balancing test. Here in this case, again, you make a determination as to whether or not the building inspector's determination was incorrect, and the building inspector's here telling you he didn't have all of this information. And now that he does, if the board were to make a determination that the building inspector's original determination was incorrect, the building department wouldn't be offended.
No, it sounds like a
Still say hello.
place to get all the ducks in a row.
And from the safety issue, and that's not usually an issue for the zoning board of appeals. It's not an enforcement agency. But given what has happened and what's been cured and what's been in the works, building department is saying, we're working on that. We're gonna close out.
We've been
the
trying to work
safety
with them, not fight them. You know, we-
not at all.
Been
And
working
they,
on
yeah, all
closing out
along the way,
safety.
it's been, you know, above board, so.
But those are building and fire code provisions as opposed to zoning provisions.
And just like had his predecessor had mentioned this in 2020, we would have fought at the time to do what was necessary. Like I said, we're not trying to fight what's necessary, again, ducks in a row. It's just, we think that the 2020 recommendation should stand. And, you know, let us finalize it out with him and
For this recommendation,
the
we
2020,
would have never got the FHA without.
Right.
correct.
I would have never got it.
They wouldn't be able to buy.
Are we still in a public hearing?
Yes, we did not close it yet.
Yes.
And just the paperwork we're gonna do is, if this goes through, is gonna make it so that it's indisputable in the future, you know, just.
Okay, so what we could do, how about if we entertain to close the public hearing? Entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I move to close the public hearing.
I'll second that. Joe?
On that portion of the application, that's an appeal from the building inspector's determination.
Yeah.
I say that only because depending on the vote, you may be opening another public hearing on the use variance. So you gotta close the public hearing that you opened, and that was public hearing on the appeal.
Okay, so we make a recommendation to close the public hearing on the building inspector's decision.
Yes.
John,
Yes.
okay, so it's amended. Seconded by Steve. All those in favor by aye? Aye, it is. Okay, do we come to a vote?
You need a motion.
I understand that.
I'm sorry.
Entertain a motion to disagree with the building inspectors.
Go, my suggestion would be if you're gonna go in the affirmative, it would be to sustain the appeal by the applicant that the building inspector's determination of June 24, 2025 was incorrect. Put it in the affirmative as opposed to in the negative.
Joe, you're making that motion?
I can't make the motion, but somebody can make it worded that way.
Somebody can read off.
Oh. Steve, you wanna read it? You're close by.
I got my glasses. Not that close.
John, read it.
Hang on.
Want me to go up there and read what I said?
My suggestion would be, let's go on. Well, it's not really there.
I can read it if you
Motion to
want.
sustain the
Yeah.
appeal.
So, yeah, so I'll make the motion.
Okay, Melissa's, I'm Melissa, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Heather,
So, motion to sustain the appeal by the applicant that the building inspector's determination of June 24th, 2025 was incorrect.
I'll second that.
Wait a minute. I want to get my understanding straight because what it came out was that a previous determination is what was really incorrect. And it's only because of what we know now that we can say that that was incorrect.
Right. So we are, if a positive vote would be sustaining their,
Or appeal
Their
of that,
Yeah.
of the
determination.
original
Okay.
determination. And saying, and based on this
The information.
preponderance of additional information that we now have that was not provided, and that wasn't known.
I'm clear.
You're clear?
Yep.
Okay, we call for a vote. I seconded it. And then you're in? John?
Aye.
Done.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
That was just approving the. Everybody?
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, you voted?
well, yeah, I guess he assumed
All
that
right,
because
for the record, then it's 5 ayes.
5 ayes. So at this point now, what happens to the request for the variance? That's null and void?
Moot.
Technically, if you want to wrap the record up, you now move to the alternative application for a variance and you continue to move based on the decision.
In moot or we vote on it?
No, it's moved. Don't
Okay.
vote on it. The issue's been determined.
So basically what we determined is that it was a 3-family prior and it still is a 3-family and that it will remain as a 3-family.
Yeah.
Correct. Thank you. And the variance.
Without a use.
That's unnecessary.
I got it.
I still have to close out my permit, so, right, for the pictures?
Yeah.
Yes, he's got to do.
Which,
You
yeah,
can't,
thank
the
you.
board can make a condition, but it's lawfully obligated
Yeah.
to do now whatever the
Which
building
we've done,
inspector wants
so.
them to do to close out the permits.
But now they have
They-
authority to do so.
They may, I suspect that somebody will want a revised
Clear letter, yeah.
determination, a clear letter.
They wouldn't allow us to schedule a closing without that, so
I know, so you. have to-
we appreciate it. We appreciate you getting it done for us, because we're dead in the water. 20. So, thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. I
Have a
good
appreciate
night.
all of you.
Long road, have a good night.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all.
Good night.
So do we have to confirm that?
What? Nice to
like that?
watch. Thank you, guys.
Forever.
When, I don't know that you took a vote basically determining that the application for the use variance is moot.
We should do that.
You should do that, I think.
Okay. Entertain a motion to the application for the conversion from the one family to the three family is moot based on our prior decision. By John, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is. Okay.
I move to close.
Entertain a motion to close the meeting
I move that.
of August 18th. All those in favor by aye? Aye, it is.